This is an Amiga 1200. It came out in 1992, and right now, it's talking to a modern AI, Claude, live, streaming the reply one word at a time. No PC is translating for it. There's no proxy, there's no cheating. The Amiga is doing the encryption, the network, all of it by itself. Let me show you. I built a thing called AmiCode. The easiest way to describe it is that it's Claude Code or open code for the Amiga. It's a native AmigaOS 3 app that runs an agentic tool use loop right on the real 68K machine. Meaning you can give it a task in plain English and it can go and read and write files, run AmigaDOS commands, and even go out to the web, all on this Amiga. It's not a chatbot in a box, it's an agent that can actually do stuff on the machine that it's running on. Now you might be thinking, people have always bolted AI onto old machines before. Sure, but almost always there's a modern computer doing the hard bit. The HTTPS, the TLS, the encryption, and the retro machine is just a pretty terminal. AmiCode doesn't do that. The Amiga itself opens a TLS 1.3 connection straight to the API, verifies the certificate, and streams the response on a 68K. And that turns out to be the genuinely interesting part. So let's talk about why. The hardest part of actually getting this to work is to get it to communicate securely on the internet using TLS. So the fact that the handshake even happens is the whole trick. Underneath, it's a library called AmiSSL version 5, which is an OpenSSL 3 compatible stack. And that's doing most of the heavy lifting. The certificate actually gets verified, SNI goes out on every single connection. Now, the lazy way out of this is to use verify none and switch the checks off and everything will appear to work. But that's not secure, and sometimes you want your AI communications to be secure. Entropy was one of the most difficult parts as well. Cryptography lives and dies on good randomness, and the Amiga barely has any. There's no hardware noise to draw from, so the numbers it hands out are very weak and predictable. And weak and predictable keys are broken keys. So before the very first handshake, you have to gather entropy and seed the generator carefully. Get that right, and the randomness goes from guessable to solid. Skip it, and the strongest cipher in the world is guarding nothing. Third, 2 library bases. So on classic OS 3, AmiSSL doesn't come up as one piece. It spans 2 library bases at once, and the order is not optional. You have BSD socket and AmiSSL master. Then AmiSSL open calls itself, and when you're done, you tear it all back down in the exact reverse order. Get that wrong, and you leak a library base, and it will crash. It crashes the next time the program runs. Last in, first out, and the Amiga doesn't forgive it. The compiler was a pain as well. Initially I used Bebo's fantastic Amiga GCC, but the reality is vbcc, that's what I used. Here's the catch though, AmiSSL ships with convenient varargs macros that lean on GCC only inline tricks, and under vbcc they don't even compile, so you throw the convenience layer out. Instead of the tidy macro call, you build the tag arrays by hand and pass them straight to the plain tag list entry points. Less pretty, but it actually compiles. So, enough theory, here's just working. Here I am in AmiCode, and I'm just going to ask it to list the RAM and tell me what is the largest file on there. That's great, I don't really have much in there. But let's get it to write something. So let's get it to write a file in the RAM directory, and let's read it. Sorry, the RAM drawer. Notice that when it wants to run a command, I have to say yes or no. And there, it wrote a file with a little song in it. That's amazing. Probably not that interesting or useful though. So let's give it a more interesting real world task. I want it to download some software and install them on my actual Amiga machine. So for this, I'm just going to give it something simple, like I want it to download the Fortune app. That's the little app that takes a fortune from a text file. I don't actually have the text files of the fortunes on the machine, but let's just get it installed and see if AmiCode will be able to get it for us, and then we can run it. Notice how during all of this it's got a chain of thought, it's downloading things from Aminet, it's working out what it needs to do, and it's running actual commands on your system. And that's it, it's done, it's downloaded the application. Now let's go and try it out. And that's it, that's AmiCode, Claude Code for the Amiga. Go and check it out on GitHub, it's free and under an MIT license.